Opening scene. Sunset over a dusty frontier town called Periodic Gulch. Tumbleweeds roll. A saloon piano plays in the distance. Narrator deep drawl. Out in the dusty reaches of the periodic table, nestled deep in the rare earth range, was a town full of misfits, metals, and mysteries. But no one caused more raised eyebrows or monocles than a lone element ridden into town with a name as hard to pronounce as it was to discover, Lutetium. Cue spaghetti western music. Enter Lutetium on a shimmering silver horse. He tips his hat and adjusts his monocle. Lutetium cool and collected. Name's Lutetium. Last of the lanthanides, technically, but let's not split atoms. Narrator, Lou wasn't always a legend. No sir. Back in 1907, he was just a glimmer in the spectroscope of a French chemist named Georges Urbain. Cut 2. A Parisian lab, 1907. Beaker's bubble. Urbain holds a sample of Herbier and squints through a spectroscope. Urbain dramatic French accent. These is not pure Herbium, non. There are two elements hiding here. I shall call the new one Lutetium after Lutetia, the Roman name for Paris, because branding she is true's important. Narrator. But like any good Western, there was a rival gunning for the glory. Karl R. von Welsbach of Austria, who claimed he found it to called it Cassiopeum. But the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, they sided with the French. Cut 2. Karl dramatically flinging his clipboard in slow motion. Karl wore 'em always the French. Narrator. Thus, Lutetium moseyed into history. He may be number 71 on the periodic table, but in Periodic Gulch, he was number 1 in mystery. Back to town. Sheriff Yttrium approaches Lutetium with a squint. Sheriff Yttrium, we don't take kindly to elements we can't place easy. You a transition metal or a lanthanide? Lutetium smirks. That depends who you ask, Sheriff. Some say I'm the end of the lanthanide line. Others say I'm a dandy little transition metal. Truth is, I'm both, and neither. I just like to stir the pot. He spins a petri dish on his fingertip like a coin. Narrator. Lutetium might not have been the biggest brawler in the bunch. He's denser than lead, but rarer than a rainy day in the Mojave. Folks use him in PET scanners, catalysts in cracking petroleum, and even as a timekeeper in atomic clocks. That's right, Lou don't just shoot straight. He keeps perfect time. Saloon scene. Elements drink from beakers. Julian sings karaoke. Lou enters. Piano player stops. Holmian whispering. Ain't he the one who can tell time better than cesium? Herbium glaring. That's the one. Rich in applications, rare in company. Narrator. See, Lutetium ain't just pretty atomic weight. With a melting point hotter than a Jalapeno branding iron over 1,600 C and a willingness to bond with anyone brave enough to try, he's the cowboy chemists love to wrangle but rarely catch. Final scene. Lou tips his hat, ready to leave town as the sun sets again. Lutetium. I may not shine like gold or explode like francium, but when the chips are down, you'll want me in your spectrometer. Sheriff Yttrium grudging respect. Ride safe, Lou. Keep that atomic clock ticking. Narrator. And so, Lutetium rode into the scientific sunset, understood by few, valued by many, and never ever mispronounced correctly on the first try. Cue heroic Western music, and credits roll across the periodic table. E&D, or as we would say, Finn, with a little spin.